Okay, we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Live at 5. We have a very special guest today. You all know him because you all asked for him. Last time he was on the Live at 5, we had such a great outpouring of, oh my God, that Matt Rowe is great. When is he coming back? So we finally brought him back. Today, Matt's going to be talking to us about the power of belief. I'm always talking to you guys about how you have to heal on all the levels. It's not just physical, it's the mind, the body, and the soul. So I can give you all the nutritional information in the world to heal your body, but that's just one level. That's just one spoke in the wheel. You have to do the mind, the body, and the soul. So I got you covered on the body. Catherine's got you covered on the soul. And when it comes to the mind, that's where Matt Rowe comes in. And he's going to be talking to us today about how powerful belief is. So, Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. If you would, take it away.
Janine, you are awesome. And thank you so much on all of this. I want to thank everyone for being here. It is going to be exciting. We are going to do exercises. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff. So before we get started, I'd like you to get a piece of paper and a pencil just at the ready, because you're going to be writing some things down. I want to make sure the time you spend with me today is valuable. And I want you to get something from it. And I want you to begin accessing this such critical aspect of healing that Janine pointed to, which is your mind. But once we believe we can do it, the possibilities start to open up. And I'm going to tell some stories through this as well. So if you don't know me, in 2017, I was diagnosed with primary progressive MS. And 2 years prior, when I first noticed my symptoms of MS, I could only walk 800 steps. And I knew this because I walked the Colorado Trail with my son and my father, and I'd walk 800 steps and have to stop. And I didn't know what was wrong. And I also noticed anger, frustration, fear, depression began to set in during this time, and it overtook my thoughts. And the stress just made my symptoms worse. So I had no idea what to do. I felt like a boat on a vast ocean with no sail or rudder, just being tossed around with every appointment, with every test I took, and the poor feeling that arose with each one of these, not feeling like I was enough, feeling like I was broken. But during these moments, I realized something more important, that I had a choice. And I could either be defined by MS, or I could get busy doing all I could to overcome this disease I was living with. So before we get started, take out your piece of paper, and I want you to write down right now what's one thing you believe about yourself. Just one belief in general could work as well. Just what do you believe? Because of this belief, did it alter some habits, some focus, actions, or motivations in your life?
Hold on. So do you want me to do a positive belief or a negative belief? Because I've got both of them going back and forth in my head at all times.
Doesn't matter. Write them both down.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because I want you to write down that belief, and how did it alter? And did you notice it alter some of your habits and your focus, actions, and motivations as you had that belief that you held on to?
Okay.
And also, how does this belief make you feel? Do you feel encouraged, joyful, sad, depressed, angry? So by a show of hands right now, who here wants to feel good about themselves? Just put your hand up in front of your camera. Just share. Oh, yeah.
Both hands up.
Yeah, I want to feel good. I want to feel good all the time. But what happens?
Everybody in the comments, who wants to feel good? Say, I want to feel good. Listen, ask your questions as we're going along, because I won't ask them right in the middle while he's talking, but I will at the end. I'll read them back. So say hi as you're jumping on and ask your questions.
And you're going to realize that your belief is powerful. And I'm going to challenge you all today. Your beliefs can either save you or hurt you. So I'm going to share my screen real quick.
While you're doing that, Mary says she wants to feel good. Nice, nice, Mary.
Hell
Hey,
yeah.
Silvana. Hey, May. How are you all doing?
And Janine, can you see my screen?
Not yet, but I seem to be freezing. So keep going.
Okay. So my screen is loading up right now. Can you see that?
Okay, cool. As we're not yet. Are you hitting the share button at the bottom?
I did.
Right next to my mic
Here,
like we did
here
before.
we go.
Hit share screen and see what that does.
I got
It's
her.
StreamYard. It's a little different than Facebook Live. Yeah, I'm
Yep.
just figuring it out too.
Yep. You should be able to
Oh,
see
Mary
it now.
made it. Hey, Mary. How you doing? Stephanie says she wants to feel good. Elizabeth,
Oh,
feel good?
yeah,
Me,
you
she
wanna feel
says.
good.
Debbie, she wants to feel good too. May, awesome.
All right, now you got it.
I love this. You know what? I have a third screen popping up. Here we go. Let me add this right here. And perfect. All right, we got it.
Okay, awesome. So you guys can all see
I can see
this
it now.
So I'm going to walk you guys through a journey, an awesome journey of belief and what you can do. And so when you're starting to think about yourself, think about your story and your beliefs, and your beliefs are crafted based upon your past perceptions of your life, things that happen to you. So, for example, if you've gotten in a lot of car accidents, you might believe that you're not a very good driver. But is this belief true? So I want to show you the power of belief and how it can start changing your life to what you want. So before we get started, I'm going to go through a quick healing light meditation. And this healing light's going to take 3 minutes. And what I want to do is we want to cleanse our bodies and put ourselves in a state. So before we can get started, if you are in a safe spot and you feel comfortable doing so, go ahead and put your feet on the ground, relax your shoulders, start putting your hands on the tops of your legs and feeling this present moment of now. And we're going to slowly close our eyes and put ourselves in the space. And we are going to imagine a brilliant white light above our heads. And we're going to begin by taking a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. As this light comes in through the top of our head, and it slowly begins to drip down our body like honey, through our mind, repairing all aspects of our thoughts, of our words, of our lesions, or any other ill feeling you have. With each deep breath in, this light expands within us as it trickles down into our heart and grow. And as this light comes down throughout our body, it is trickling down to our feet as we take another deep breath in. This light expands and we feel it press through every cell of our body. We feel the healing warmth that it brings as it goes down into our legs and down through our feet, down through the earth and into the core of our planet. As it circles around our core of our planet, we feel this grounding and connection of our health and the love that we have for ourselves deep within. And with each deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, this expands all around us as this light circles back up through our feet filling each cell, feeling every core of our body as it grows. As it reaches our heart feels the warmth of this light as it expands past our bodies and out through the space that you are in as this light grows. It funnels back up through our head and up our spine, healing every aspect that we feel as this light goes back up through our head, and we're connecting the earth below to the source and light above. With your next deep breath in, begin wiggling your toes and your fingers as you feel this balance and clarity within you. All right, now enter back into the room so we can begin this powerful, incredible journey of awareness. So, as we think about belief, what is stopping us from believing that we can? And what I mentioned earlier on is that our belief is driven by our perceptions of who we are as an individual. And these perceptions are created within us at a very young age. These perceptions are created sometimes at the time of 6 years old, 12 years old, 16 years old. Before we started, Janine and I talked about our sisters, and I have a sister that, as much as I love her, she had me feeling like I was not smart enough growing up. So my belief was I'm not smart enough. So when I went to college, I didn't study that hard because I didn't think I could do it. And this belief started to craft who I was as an individual, started to craft my habits. And it was not until I decided to not hold on to this belief any further in my life did I start to get past this belief. And truly today, I believe, yes, I am smart enough. I am good enough to do this. And so this allows me to be the best healer that I can be. So at the very beginning, I asked what you believed in now. And this change starts with belief. And once we believe we can, we become unstoppable. So where does belief start? It starts with a desire, starts with knowing what you want and who you are, and understanding that your thoughts can be either negative or positive. And what do you tell yourself when you are alone? Do you believe you can? Do you eat clean? Do you eat vegetables? Do you eat healthy? And do you believe that every bite you take is healing your body? Knowing as if it has already happened. This is what happens with belief, is that when we believe strongly, those that believe already believe it has happened within their lives. They don't believe, oh, I hope it'll work, or maybe someday, yeah, I believe it'll work, but I hope it kind of happens. We put that level of doubt on there. And what the universe, source, God, whatever you believe in, wants for us is to know it so strongly, for us to know it like we are going to breathe, that our hearts are going to beat. Now, when I say those statements, did you guys think about breathing? While I was explaining all this, did you say, okay, time to take a breath, take a breath? Okay, breathe in. Okay. Now, you may have thought that during the meditation because I was asking you to take deep breaths and you were thinking about your deep breath going in and your breath going out. But on a day to day basis, we don't think about breathing. We know we are going to breathe. This is the belief I want to create in you, is to believe that you are going to heal from multiple sclerosis and overcome all the symptoms it has, like you believe you are going to breathe. Now, at this point, you might be telling yourself, this is crazy. But We have too many examples in this world of individuals that have done it. I have met and interviewed individuals that had stage 4 cancer, and the doctor told this individual, her name is Michelle Mraz, she's an incredible woman, told her, you've got 60 minutes to live. You have about an hour to live. I'm so sorry. Make sure I would call your family in your room right now. And she looked at the doctor and said, oh, hell no. This is not going to happen. And she believed in that moment so strongly that cancer was not going to kill her that when the doctor came in 6 hours later, he gave her another scan and said, oh, something changed. And today, Michelle travels around the world speaking to individuals about how to change their life. And so this is something, just beautiful stories like this. And it was all started with this essence of belief. So we all want a recipe for belief. We want this quick fix recipe pill. Oh, if I do this, this, and this is going to happen. So what I did for you today is I built a recipe for you. So who wants a recipe for belief? You can just put in the comments, hell yes, or whatever, how you want to do it, or a thumbs up.
I was just going to say that because that's my favorite saying ever. I was going to say, okay, put in the comments. Oh, hell yeah. Yes.
Oh.
I'm putting that in right now.
And Janine, I loved your story as well. Is when I interviewed you for the podcast, and I've used you as an example in some cases, is when everything happened to you and from your ex-husband to the tree falling on your house. I love the statement you make. Oh, hell no. This is not going to happen.
Hell no, this is not taking me down. When the neurologist says, hey, just get used to being in a wheelchair. Really, no one ever dies from MS. Just be happy with that. My first thought was always, oh, hell no, I don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's right. And
that's my favorite.
That's the belief I'm talking about. If you have that belief, if you have the belief of Janine Troutman, you can.
Or the arrogance, the belief or the arrogance, either one worked for me.
I don't care. It's not even arrogant. It's just like, no, I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to do. And the universe and the world surrounds around you to make that happen. So now I can go deeper into this. And if you take my class, I do go deeper into the actual science behind all of this. And, if you read the book, The Placebo Effect by Dr. Joe Dispenza, he did it for himself. Repairing his spine from being paralyzed, all of this stuff. And I'm going to tell you a story later about myself as well. So the recipe for belief, the first ingredients is know who you are. If you want to believe, you got to believe you are. You are a specific way. And what are your core values? I'm going to show you a list right now. So what I want you to do is write down 3 things you value. And here, I'm going to show up a list real quick. A bunch of words. Those are all value words. Which ones stand out to you? And I did it as a collage like that intentionally because some words stand out to you more than others. Just write down 3 of them. You're like, yep, I am confidence. I am dignity. I am reliability. So whatever those 3 words, so take 2 minutes and talk and think about that. What are those 3 words that stand out to you in regards to who you believe you are as a person? Now, when you take my class, we go into a much deeper aspect of this. We actually go through a process of creating your 3 core values for yourself. And this is something that is ingrained, what I would consider your soul's value. These values that we create in class are ones that are not going to change in your life. They're ones that you were born with, that you hold on to and have stuck with you throughout your life. And so your values definitely sit in. But just for the quick side of it, write down 3 and you'll find that 3 stand out to you very quick. So,
You're right. They do. And it would be a lot of fun if everyone took their first, while everyone's looking for their three.
mhm,
Take your first one and put it in the comments so we can all see it. My eye went
yeah.
right to the first one. I just posted mine, honesty,
Mhm.
and then it went right to health and then right to freedom. It's amazing how that works. Because at first
Crazy.
I was like, whoa, too many words. But you're right. Your
Yep.
eye goes right to what you know, who you are.
Right. So what you're actually digging into a little bit there, Janine, is your intuition. Your inner self really wants to find and is identified those words stand out to you, even in a myriad of a puzzle or chaos like this, those stand out. So
Okay, I
it's
love
kind of fun.
that. All right,
Yeah.
I'm going back on mute. I'm sorry. I'm going to just derail the
Oh,
whole thing
no,
if I
no.
don't go back on mute. Go ahead.
I love the discussion. Um, then the second ingredient is, what do you want in your life? Think about things you want in your life. Now, you can go external. So, I want a car, I want a house, I want $1 million. You want something physical in the external aspect of the sphere of life, which is not bad and it's great. But what do you want for yourself? You may want health. One of my wants was to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle at her wedding. At the time I said that, she was 10 years old. And now, as I go through my life, she's 16 now. And definitely no way in hell is she getting married anytime soon. But still, this drives me forward in making choices in my life. Those habits that I talked about, your beliefs started to create those habits. This is what I talk about, is what you want starts to define your habits. So for example, because I want to walk my daughter down the aisle whenever she gets married, then in order to do that, I don't eat processed foods. I don't eat foods that make me feel bad. I eat predominantly vegetables. So I eat 80% organic vegetables. I watch what supplements I take. I watch what stress I have, because I know all of those will affect my health. So why would I want to chance something that I want? So in another context, people that want $1 million may go down the road of, you know what, I'm going to study finance. I'm going to really understand the markets. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to meet these people. And they start to develop different habits within their life to create the outcome that they want. So write down what you want. Just a couple of things. Could be one, could be three, could be 10. Let me go to this one. So writing down a couple things that you want. I'll give you a minute for that. Okay. So now the third and final ingredient for creating belief is, how does this make you feel? We need to add emotion to it. Because when we add emotion, we are actually changing the energetic flow of our lives. Because we are all vibrating. The desk that you're at, the pen in your hand, the piece of paper is all vibrating. They've proven it at MIT. You can look it up. And what's amazing is we vibrate too. So when we vibrate at possibility, we vibrate higher. So for example, let's take it in the emotion of anger, shame, guilt, vibrates at a very low level, right around anywhere from 50 to 150 hertz. And that around that level actually starts to change our cellular structure. And this is what starts to lead us towards disease and starts to lead us towards stress. And definitely it's been proven that stress does kill, and stress will kill you. So if we want to change our stress, We need to change our emotions. So when we vibrate at anger, we bring stress into ourselves. And actually, we attract more anger into our lives. So if you've had a really bad day, and let's say it starts with one bad instance in the morning, your hot water heater breaks before you get in the shower and you have to take a cold shower. And oh man, that sucks. And then you go to get breakfast in the morning and everything, your cereal box, your kids left, a quarter cup of cereal in the bottom, or they left no food and they took it all from the house. And you're like, damn it, I didn't even have breakfast this morning. And then you're driving to work and you get cut off on the road and somebody rear ends you. And you're like, damn it, today is terrible. But we attract more of that terrible with this emotion of anger, this frustration and all of that stuff, because we're vibrating at the low level, and vibration and like attracts like. So imagine if you could vibrate at joy and love. Now, as our thought leaders on the planet, either it's Jesus, Buddha, the Dalai Lama, other healers, what I've learned for myself is that when you vibrate at love, you attract more love. And you actually attract the possibility of healing. Maybe your thought process change. Maybe your beliefs change because you're vibrating at love and you're smiling and you're happy. There's been reports where individuals have cured themselves from cancer through laughter. Well, what is laughter? Laughter is just joy. It's the outward expression of joy. So adding emotion to who you are and what you want starts to build this belief within you. So what is, did you need something, Janine, or are you good?
I just realized that I'm not muted. I'm sorry. I was talking to myself. I was actually saying out loud, I'm like, oh, I like that. And I didn't mean for that to come out loud. It's funny, my husband. But I did have a question. I did, since I already broke and interrupted. I don't know, like, this is where I struggle. What is the emotion? I don't even know what to call the emotion that I feel when my ultimate goal is to travel the world and talk to other people with MS and give them a ray of hope and say, look, it's possible. I did it. You can do it. And here's how. And the only word, the emotion that comes to me is satisfaction. I don't know, because it's always been my life goal, my mission. Even when I was sick and I didn't know how it was going to be possible, I always felt like this is what I needed to do. I needed to tell people, I needed to heal myself and then tell other people how to do it. What is that emotion? What do I call that?
Well, satisfaction sounds like a value that you have. You want to be satisfied with the work that you do. So now if you have satisfaction traveling the world, now I'm going to take you down to one person. You are speaking at a conference in Germany, and one person comes up to you and is tears streaming down her face, and she says, "Thank you." What do you feel in that moment?
I did it. I did it. If I could just change one person's life, I did it. And I don't know what to call that feeling, because your heart goes right here in your throat and you just want to cry. And you're like, oh,
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I could cry now just thinking about that. Yeah. I don't know what to call that.
So you're feeling what I'm going to put out there. Do you feel joy? Like I can hear it in your voice. I can feel your joy that you have.
Yeah.
Just like you being there. It's just like, oh my God, like almost a sense of love that you cannot explain.
Yes, that I cannot explain. And I felt like joy was so general. I'm like, yeah, but it's more than joy. But no, you're right. It's just pure joy.
Yeah. And it's almost like living your life in awe.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. I'm going to write down joy. Thank you.
It is such a powerful feeling. So strong within us that even as you explained it, Janine, I hit tingles throughout my body and my heart expanded. I feel it press inside my chest. So because I'm empathic, I have this gift, and I hesitate at gift because it wasn't a gift at the beginning, is that I can feel. I can feel others' emotions. And so with this is, yeah, I could feel it. I could feel how much love and excitement you had for just the thought of that moment.
Yeah.
So now, with if universe is the ultimate source, God, universe, source, whatever you believe in, is always wanting to give you everything you want. It just needs you to feel it. It needs you to know it, believe it, and feel it as strong as you can. So this begs me to always ask the question, what is stopping us from achieving what we want? So we stop ourselves with words like, I don't deserve it, stress, it has never been done before. I'm not good enough to do this. Like, yeah, I guess it is. I'll give it a shot. We downplay maybe a good moment to where, like, let's say we feel real good that day, but we add the but at the end. I feel real good today, but you know what? Tomorrow's another day. We're just adding doubt into this. But why do we do this? And I'm going to talk about the brain very briefly for a minute here. And it's going to be really easy, and we're actually going to have some fun with it. So we're going to talk about the amygdala and basal ganglia response. So the amygdala is an almond-shaped cluster in the center of your brain, and this is what drives your fight, flight, or freeze response. But when your amygdala and also releases adrenaline within your system. Now, your amygdala has kept you alive for 5,000 years. This is actually why you are on the planet today, is because of your amygdala. Because let's look back. We haven't evolved in 5,000 years. So let's look back 5,000 years ago. If I crawled out of my cave and there was a tiger standing in front of me, I had a choice right then. I either fight the tiger, run from the tiger, or I can freeze. Or if I allowed my prefrontal cortex, where logical thought comes in to the game, and I go and I think about the tiger, and I'm like, oh man, that tiger's so cute. I wonder if I could ride that tiger to my buddy's house. Oh gosh, how much fun would it be to hunt with the tiger? Oh my gosh, if I did that and had that thought process, I would be dead. The tiger would eat me for lunch. And so what happens is when our amygdalas are triggered, we have a second chemical that releases called cortisol. And cortisol affects our logical thought, our prefrontal cortex. And so in a moment of stress, we are not our smartest selves. That's why 15 minutes after an argument, you say, oh, why didn't I say that? Oh, shit, I should have said this. That would have gotten them. Or we go into a doctor's appointment and we get diagnosed with a disease and we don't know what to say. We are in shock. And where our response comes from, either agreeing to the doctor or slamming our brakes on in the car when somebody slams theirs on in front of us, we don't think about it, we just slam our brakes, comes from our basal ganglia. And our basal ganglia is where long-term memory and thought are stored. So this fear response keeps us alive. But why is it so crippling? And this is what we talk about at some point, is that fear has an element of stress. Fear puts our stress response on, and this actually triggers our adrenaline, which then comes with cortisol, and our response comes from our basal ganglia. When we freeze, we don't do anything. We freeze if we are in a diagnosis. Has anybody out there been in denial? I wasn't diagnosed with this. This is crazy. Or we avoid any aspect of doing anything about it. Negative self-talk is also a form of freezing. Well, God, I'm so stupid. I couldn't do this anyhow. You know what? I'm just going to take the drug the doctor told me to take because he's smart. She went to medical school. And what am I to think that I'm any better than that? Negative talk is just freezing any possibility of hope or belief that you can. Also, flight will discredit ourselves and others. You know what? This whole food thing is stupid. Food really doesn't make that big of a difference. We stop listening to other people that may have healed themselves, like Janine has. We deny it. Maybe you start feeling better and you're like, oh, there's no way. There's no way this could have worked. And we run from the possibility of making it happen. So we can also fight it. We fight it with stress. We fight ourselves. We blame somebody. We blame, oh, if this person hadn't fed me this, or if I had a better childhood, or if I, was treated better as a kid, maybe my life would be better. I'm not saying that any of that's bad, but you have an opportunity to choose. So let me show you how this works real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a quick exercise. So I want you to pull out your piece of paper that you have, the journal that you wrote those down on. You just need a blank piece of paper and you need a pen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call out a series of numbers. Then I'm going to ask you for an item, another series of numbers, ask you for an item, and then we'll stop. So you guys ready to go? Got your pens ready? Get them up. Ready to go? Okay, start writing these numbers down. 7, 15, 82, 43, 96, 105, 44, 72, 93, 1, 7, 8, 9, 12, 17, 18, 16. Write down a color. 13, 14, 18, 17, 18, 43, 64, 94, 108, 7, 13, 1. Write down a piece of furniture. 17, 15, 18, 17, 13, stop. Okay. Now, on one level, when I do this to a large audience or to a big room, I get to see all of your hands. So, in seeing all of your hands, it makes it really easy for me. So, we're going to do this without me seeing you at all. So, one thing you could do is Janine is monitoring StreamYard. So if there is a raise your hand feature on StreamYard, is there, Janine?
Not that I know of, but we can use the comments section with like a word to
Okay.
symbolize them raising their hands, like an H for,
Okay.
hands.
Yeah. Okay. So we have to have a way to lower that or remove that H.
All right. Well, now you're just asking for a lot. I was
I
happy with
know.
the.
And so we're just going to go with everybody. You guys are all going to, I'm going to trust you on all of this. So when I asked you for a color, so imagine your hand is raised. So even imagine, just raise your hand and just, I am going to imagine your hand is raised. So if you didn't write anything down at all when I asked you for a color, you have to lower your hand. If you wrote down a color, the actual words, a color, you have to lower your hand. If you wrote down blue, green, yellow, red, brown, orange, purple, black, white, pink, I'm going through all my primary colors. You have to lower your hand.
Oh.
If your hand is still up, whatever color you wrote down, is it a color sitting in front of you right now? Or have you recently purchased this color because you're painting a room? Or is it your favorite color?
That's a great question. So, guys, if you did not write down any of the colors that Matt just said, he tried to go through primary colors and then some, write it down. Now, Mary just wrote purple. Did you say purple?
I did.
You did. I thought so. Okay. Was there a color that you wrote down that Matt did not say? I don't even know if there are any more colors like that. No? All right. Right now. So we know you're on there.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So
I wrote down red because I think I'm looking at red behind me, my curtains.
Yeah. Do you like red, Janine?
It's the accent color in my office. Yes, I do. I love it.
Yeah, there you go. So so let's go to furniture and I'll explain why you gave me what you gave me. So same thing with furniture. If you wrote down nothing at all, or a piece of furniture, you have to lower your hand. Also, if you wrote down desk, chair, bed, table, couch, TV, rug. Yeah, let's stop there. So is there a piece of furniture that anybody wrote down that I did not say?
While they are writing and we're waiting for them to come in, because it looks like there's a delay with the comments coming in, I want to tell you that Arden said fuchsia and Elizabeth says chartreuse.
Chartreuse. Okay, fuchsia and chartreuse. So with fuchsia, for the person that wrote fuchsia, have you recently purchased something with fuchsia?
Arden, good question. Post that if you can. Have you recently purchased something with fuchsia, or are you looking at it in your room?
Or is it your favorite color?
Oh, yeah. And then same thing for you, Elizabeth, chartreuse. Oh, Arden says no. No.
Interesting. So that color is actually locked into your basal ganglia, or you didn't write the numbers down and you've done this exercise before.
She just said it's her favorite color.
Yep, chartreuse.
Yeah, Arden was the fuchsia.
Oh, fuchsia was his favorite color.
Yeah, her favorite color. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
her
Elizabeth said, no, there's nothing around. Okay. So Elizabeth, that color chartreuse is locked into your, I'm going to try it. Ready? Basal ganglia.
Awesome.
Okay. And do you know why? Oh, she's so funny. I love her. She goes, because I like to say chartreuse.
There you go. So
What
happens is I put you under a minor amount of stress.
Is that music? Are you playing music for us?
No, that's my dog shaking his collar.
Okay. Because I felt like someone was winning and you had bells like ding, 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 ding. Perfect timing.
Leo's getting involved in this. He wanted to.
He's getting excited. He feels the excitement.
Some chakra bells to the whole game. So what happens is that I'm sorry, I have to apologize. I put you guys under a minor amount of stress.
Yeah, it was a lot writing down all those numbers.
It is. And we think it's a lot. And I never said that you had to have the numbers accurate. I never said that I was going to judge you or see who wrote down the most numbers. But as Americans, what we do, and if you're not from America, usually it's a human being thing, is we want to be right and we want to be accurate and we want to be better than the person sitting next to us. Okay. And so what we do is when I started to call those numbers out, you were frantically writing them. And so when I asked you for something simple of a color, you gave me your favorite color or you gave me a primary color that you know. You didn't give me forest green, the essence of yellow, the sun of, like whatever it is. You didn't give me a new color. You gave me a color you knew.
We went right to comfort. So, Arden, I think that answers your question. She goes, so does fuchsia mean it's some kind of stress? No, it actually is quite the opposite. When you were under stress, writing down all those numbers really quickly, I know I was, and then you were asked a question, you're like, oh, I know this. And you went right to your comfort zone, which was fuchsia, your favorite color. Yeah. Did I say that right, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. And what happens is that even when I asked you for a piece of furniture, you picked a piece of furniture that was around you.
Yeah.
You didn't give me armoire unless you just bought an armoire, unless you've been thinking armoire and searching for armoires, and that was your first thought coming to mind. So what happens with our brains with belief is that when you are put under stress, you go to your first oldest thought in your mind. What was told to you on the playground as a child? You're not smart enough to do this. How do you believe that you could ever heal yourself from a disease? This is what we go to in our mind. So it's not your fault. It is what has been trained. Your basal ganglia stores long-term memory and thought, like slamming your brakes on in the car and giving the person a finger after they've cut you off on a road. You don't think about it, you just do it. This is athletes have trained this. The military has trained this. They know this. So for example, when you watch football on Sundays, how does that guy know to run 20 steps this way, make a right turn, 10 steps more up, look for the ball? It's because he's done it a million times. So yes, you can actually retrain your brain with practice and habits. So your belief starts to build your ability to create a habit, and those habits become a result. So, for example, if you do what Janine teaches, which is brilliant, and she gets you to start eating gluten free and removing gluten from your diet. And at first, it's kind of a struggle. You're like, oh man, but that pizza that I had. And we start to go into our old memories of what it was like. Then we start to change that habit structure, and that belief starts to get reinforced. And that 1% change every day starts to get embedded within us. And after about 3 months, you probably have a thought that's like, I can't imagine going back in my life. I didn't know I could feel this good. And so this is when belief is crafted and changed. And this is when belief has power, because you regularly tell yourself that you could, and you believe in yourself deep down. So you are unique. You are every one of us is unique. And that's what's beautiful about it. But that uniqueness, we have an opportunity to harness it. And it starts with knowing that you can do it. You can do anything. So I'm going to tell you a story. So back in 2008, I was an all-American triathlete, and I'd raced over 100 triathlons. And my all-American designation came at the half Ironman distance. So I was one of the top 100 guys in the country that could swim 1.2 miles, bike 56, and then run a half marathon faster than about anybody in my age group. And then one day it all went away. In 2008, I was stressed out at work, angry, and I went out and my back was sore. I'd run 14 miles the day before, and I'm like, oh, it's just that. And I kind of sloughed it off. And then I went out and shoveled snow. And when I threw a heavy load of snow over my shoulder, my spine at L5 separated, and I paralyzed my right leg from the waist down. I could drag my leg. I could go through moments that I drug it. I couldn't pick myself up on my right toes, and my career somewhat ended. And I thought it had ended. After 4 months, my doctors came to me and said, yeah, you're never going to run again. And if we don't find a surgery that works for you to repair your leg, we're going to have to amputate your leg. And that's when fear came in. But, at some point, I had hoped that I would run again. Deep down, I can't tell you where that came from. I can't even tell myself today where that came from. But deep down, I knew I would again. So I met a doctor that did a microlaminectomy, repaired my spine, and I limped into the surgery center, basically drugged my leg into the surgery center, and I walked out. Didn't walk very well. I mean, I had lost 90% of the muscle mass in my right leg. And I was looking at a 3.5-year rehabilitation to actually get my leg to function again. 1 year before I was diagnosed, 1 year before my leg was ready to be fully healed, I signed up for Ironman, which is swim 2.4 miles, bike 112, and then run a marathon. And I felt that if Ironman training won't change my mindset or repair my leg, nothing will. And 1 year later, I crossed the finish line of Ironman in 2011. It was an
What the hell
amazing.
were you thinking? Wait, I'm sorry. What the hell were you thinking? Where did that belief come from? I love this, that a year before your leg was even healed, you signed up for it, going, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
What evidence did you pull from in history to make you believe that that was going to happen? That's what I
No,
think people need to know. Did you pull from evidence in history, or did you go, I don't care if it never happened before, god damn it, I'm doing it?
bingo.
Ah.
I know I can make this happen. And it was a belief, Janine, that was ingrained inside. Now, it was crafted after racing 100 triathlons and making All American. After doing this for all these years, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Like, let's, you know what? I might as well try. What's the worst on trying it? Let's go make this happen. And I flipped my mindset to knowing that I could. And that is actually what helped me cross the finish line. And you have 17 hours to finish Ironman, or you're not an Ironman. And I did it in 13 hours and 24 minutes.
Oh my God.
It was an amazing experience, and it was an experience of knowing that I could. Now, years later, I ended up being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but that belief still stood, that I knew I could rise above this. And this crafts into being the healer I am today.
You're amazing. You call me the badass, but you're the badass, because I was only like, I'm going to walk again and I'm going to raise my kids. You were like, oh yeah, no, I know I have a separated, spinal issue, but I'm going to do an Ironman. Like, who says that? That's insane, but it's amazing. And the fact that you actually did it and can call yourself an Ironman today is incredible. Is it absolutely incredible? And it just goes to show you, you were making me think of the people who set records. Before a record is set, and let's say like sprinting, some running, before a record is set, people don't know that it's even possible to achieve that. And then once someone achieves it, that's
Mhm.
their new goal.
Yeah.
You were that person who just set a new record. And you're like, you know what? I don't know if anyone's ever done it before, and I don't care. I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
I saw people in books that had healed themselves from MS, and I'm like, all right, well, if someone can do it, I guess I can too. You were like, no, I have no evidence. I'm just going to do it, come hell or
Mhm.
high water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, he says.
but incredible people like yourself that say the words, "Oh hell no."
Oh yeah, well, I'm
Oh,
Italian.
I'm gonna make this happen.
Yeah,
Oh hell yes, I'm gonna
yeah,
live this life. And you did. And so it really comes into that moment inside of your thoughts
yeah.
when you say, "Oh hell yes."
Mhm.
And that was mine, is really back in 2010. And I signed up November 20th, 2010. You signed up 1 year before Ironman to go race the thing. And I remember sitting there that day going, oh, hell yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this sucker happen.
And he did it just on the power of belief.
And
And you made such a great analogy before with the gluten free, because when I heard I'm going to have to go gluten free, when I read, oh, gluten could be the biggest culprit,
Mhm.
growing up Italian, you're going to laugh, but I thought, how am I going to raise my kids if I can't feed them pasta?
Mhm.
How am I going to live? Like, what am I going to do? Because my entire world revolved around pasta,
Mhm.
gluten, carbs, cake, cookies,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, little by little, and I see this in my clients now, I'm like, have the pizza, have the pasta. Today, it's so much easier, to do that gluten free. But you
Yeah.
said the sentence, and I started writing it down, and then you said something else interesting, and I didn't get to finish it. Belief begins to build, or did I get that wrong? Action begins to build belief. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah. Belief starts to build your habits,
Thank
your
you.
actions. So when we believe we can, we'll start doing little choices. But a lot of people think, oh, I got to make this huge shift. And we go big.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, I want to race Ironman. Well, I didn't sign up for Ironman 1 year before. And then the next week I raced Ironman. It took me a year of training. And so maybe the next day I went and I ran a half a mile farther than I did the day before. Maybe I biked a little bit farther. I mean, I can tell you of all the huge rides that I did, but it didn't become a huge ride until it was a small ride. You know, stopping gluten does not just happen in a day, and sometimes it does, but maybe it's a little step. Maybe it's like a 2-week experiment you run. And you're like, you
Or
know what?
more. Exactly. It's an evolution and nothing happens overnight.
Yes. And we're reinforcing with this evolution, we are reinforcing our belief. That's why support is so helpful, or accountability is that it's giving us that option to not be alone in a journey.
And to have choices when we're feeling stressed and need comfort, because just like we all went to, red and couch and stuff that we knew, well, most of us anyway,
Yeah.
when you're stressed, you need that food, you need that comfort food. And that's where the teachings come in of, you can still have your comfort food. I still have my comfort food, more so now than ever, being pregnant. But this is wonderful because, again, the body, the mind, and the soul. So are you planning on telling everybody, I hope you are, the program that you offer and how they can go through a step-by-step process to evolve into what you just talked about?
Yes, absolutely. And yes, and more, but this is Rick and Dick Hoyt. If you're looking at them, look them up.
There we go.
At any point, if you believe you can't do it, listen to Dick Hoyt's story and Rick's story. This is a guy that has a son that's a paraplegic, and his son wanted to run, and he looked at his son and said, Rick, you can't walk. You're in a chair. And he started to run with his son, and he pushed him. So now Dick went on to finish 7 Ironmans, pulling his son in a boat, putting him on the front of the bicycle, not the back, riding with him, and then running the marathon. He's finished 7 of them. And I think Dick at this point has passed away, but extraordinary happens when belief happens. He knew he could. He knew he could do this. So, big thing is be patient with yourself and start believing that you are enough to do it. Just like this acorn right here becomes an oak tree, but it knows it will be if given the right attention and nourishment to do it. So I want to invite everyone on an 8-week journey with me, starting Wednesday, February 9th at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. What I want for you is I want to take your mindset from resistance to belief, have you join a community from alone to supported, and education from lacking to empowered. So what I call this is thrive, and it's an opportunity to know and love yourself deeply. So in this 8-week journeys, I want you to understand and gain control of your multiple sclerosis by understanding who you are and aligning it with what you want as you take the steps to feel great again, like you used to. We all used to feel good. So I want to get that back for you. And I know you can do it. I believe you can do it from the core of my soul. But what happens is that we tend to walk through a ladder, a pyramid, so to speak. So at the beginning, we have resistance and we don't believe all of this can work. I tried, but it didn't work. I tried what I ate and it didn't make a difference. And what it can lead to is in healthy confidence, we're scared. In belief breakthrough, we are unaware. And in our meaningful relationships, we may feel lonely and lost. And so this goes, once we break through this fear and avoidance, and this is what we work on during this 8-week journey, is then you come to truth. And it's about you. It's about what you learn and what you tell yourself in these moments. And this starts to reduce this oxidative stress within our bodies. But our healthy confidence, we may get anxious about it. At times we may feel overwhelmed because we're dabbling in it. And in our meaningful relationships, we can feel that we're searching, but we're hopeful about it. But as we continue in this program, is we start to feel better and change starts to happen slowly. And in our healthy confidence, we start to get comfortable. In our belief, we think that we are trying and we know that we are trying as we believe through it. And in our relationships, we start to feel empowered and energized. And our good enough myth, I'm doing okay, starts to evolve. And we start to realize that it's not good enough because this myth traps you. And this is the breakthrough. Is I want you to go from feeling better to control. I want you to get past good enough to absolutely an aligned health plan that you create for yourself. I want you to feel empowered. I want your belief established so strongly that you know it like you are going to breathe and you feel fulfilled in love in your relationship with yourself and with others. So what happens though is if we don't do anything today, we start to drift. We start to drift down and we feel stuck. And if we kind of dabble in a little bit, we can feel overwhelmed. And if we don't do anything, it's just whatever happens, happens, your future circumstance. But what I want to give you is the faster and healthier path to get there. And this is decision and action. And this is control. This is the control I want for you. So you have to ask yourself the question, how long are you prepared to wait to feel better like you used to? So once again, mindset from resistance to belief, community from alone to supported, and education from lacking to empowered. To feel good again like you used to. So to start this journey with me, I want to give you guys $200 off. So in this, to start on Wednesday, February 9th at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, message me directly with your name, and I will send you more information about the Thrive journey and a place to sign up. Another great step is to have a conversation with me. Let's talk about it. I want to make sure you're ready for this. And I only allow 10 people into this class at a time because we become a group together that is around supporting each other through this 8-week journey. So it is a very deep, it's a deep aspect of your life that you are going to lean into. And this is somewhere where you start to change who you are. But this change happens so slowly. Think of it as 1% different every day. And as you continue it, I want to give you the tools and habits that you can take for the rest of your life. So this $200 you get off. I'm only going to allow $200 off of this because you're a part of Janine's group. And I love Janine, and that makes it that I love all of you guys. So I want you guys to start with me. So call me, talk to me, and we'll talk about it. And we'll see if it's right for you. Also, we can spread out payments for the entire journey, and it's more affordable than what you think. And so don't let money stop you. This is your health. This is everything in your life. So it's a big pay now or pay later. And I would rather have you gain your life back. So if you want to know more about the journey, if you can see it on your screen, you can click on that link to know more about it. And I want you to redefine what it means to live with multiple sclerosis. I'm aiming you to get to feel better with fewer relapses, less worry and stress, more energy and time with your family. And most of the time, you're just a few steps away. It's this, think of it as the tipping point that'll take you over. So for being a part of this and listening to me today, I want to give you guys the ebook that I wrote as well. I'm writing another larger book right now called The Identity of Health that's going to publish at the end of March, if my editor and I keep everything rocking and rolling. But yes, That's going to be a much larger book, more in depth about what I talked about today. But for now, I want to get you guys an ebook. It's called 3 Powerful Habits to Improve Your MS. You can click on that link there or message me and I'll send you an e-copy. Questions?
Oh, Matt. Okay. Yeah, there are a few questions. So I'm going to post them now. That was amazing. Thank you so much for offering them the $200 off. The members of Minding Your Soul work so hard. They take the information and they actually put it into action, and they're seeing results. So the fact that now we're building upon it and adding another layer of healing, and you're giving them the $200 off is huge. I really, I know they do too, but I really do appreciate that. I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we have a couple questions. This one, I can see, it says Facebook user, but I can see that was Tony. Which Joe Dispenza book did you reference before? Was it The Placebo Effect?
Yeah, You Are the Placebo.
You are the placebo. Okay, very good. Tony, you are the placebo.
Yes.
Now,
Actually,
Arden, go ahead. I don't want to, go ahead. Okay.
No, I got nothing.
That's funny because I hear my husband right outside the door, and I texted him before and I'm like, you can come in. It's okay. All right. So this one was from Arden. She said, would this work for any lack of worth issue?
Yes.
That's a nice, simple answer. Yes, it would.
Well, I'll tell you why. A sense of lack of self-worth comes from our past. If we don't feel worthy that we are enough, and trust me, I've got the book jacket and trophy to go along with this, is this lack of self-worth haunts us to some degree. And yes, this comes from our past. So this is something that we can help identify now for deep work in regards to that. So for example, in Janine's class yesterday, I went through an inner child meditation, identifying where some of these may have existed in your past. Now, if it's very deep, you definitely engage with a therapist, engage with somebody you trust, know, like, and trust, not a family member, but a therapist that can give you some of the tools. Now, I am not a therapist, but one thing that I can do is help you become aware of where this might be. And most of the time in that awareness comes that flip in that healing and that choice to rise above a lack of self-worth. But I think it's one of the number one things that cripples us as individuals today.
That is amazing. Thank you. And yes, I will put, not only will I put the link in the comments of all the contact information for Matt, but in the event thread, I'll put all his contact information. I also sent an email out last night telling all the members, everyone who I have their email address for, about this event with Matt's information. So if you're not on the email list, if you're not getting emails from Minding Your Soul, just send me an email at gethealthy@mindingyoursoul.com, and I'll put that email address too in the comments, and they'll make sure you guys get all the information. But Matt, this always, I mean, I can't believe it's been 1 hour and 8 minutes and it goes by so fast every time. Thank you for your time today. This was great. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Oh my gosh, you are so welcome. This is a gift for me to teach. And this is something that I have been called to do in my life. And I'm so honored to do it. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, everybody, we're just going to say goodbye to Matt now. And like I said, contact him. Just have a conversation. He offers these free consultations for a reason. One, he wants to get to know you. Matt, I'm going to speak like you're not here right now. One, he wants to get to know you more, know more about you. But two, he genuinely wants to help people, because I think, like me, we wanted people like ourselves to help us when we were sick. And because we couldn't find those people, we became them. We figured it out, and then we became those people so that we can now be those people for those who need us. So please contact Matt, have a conversation, get to know him better, ask your questions, and most importantly, sign up for his program, because it really is life-changing. So with that, Matt, thank you very much. You have a great night, and we will see you next time on the show.
That sounds awesome. Thanks, Janine.
Bye-bye.